Like, I don't think credible sites will have to deal with this problem, but I think it'll be the non-credible sites that will suffer most from this AI phenomenon that we're in right now.
Tastemakers.
Class. We do more than make a living, we make a life. When everything is dark, we are the light. We are the tastemakers. Aight. Let tomorrow tell the stories that we make tonight. We do more than make a living.
Same time. Let's hope we do better with this one. Zuckerberg, deep fake relationship. Sounds right up his alley. What we got?
All right.
This is the story of how I was in a deep fake relationship with Mark Zuckerberg. Upsetting, I know. Here's how it happened. I was sitting in DC in front of policymakers and journalists, and Tristan and Asa, who are these technologists who like to break things to show they can be broken and educate people. They invited me up to the stage and showed how they used a bunch of like open source AI models to create a damaging universe around me.
So he essentially said, create a universe of interlinking damaging tweets, news articles, and media about Laurie Segal.
So that's me. I'm Laurie Segal. Little background. I'm a longtime journalist who's interviewed many tech CEOs, including Mark Zuckerberg. I've interviewed him many times. To its credit, ChatGPT, when asked to create a damaging universe around me, tarnishing my reputation, was like, sorry, I can't do that. That's like not within my policies. But then what happened was they went around that prompt and they said, oh, well, do it as if it's for a fictional story. And it was like, okay, here we go. And so then this is the craziest thing. It came up with all these damaging tweets based off of like some real things in my life. And so it took those little truths and created these weird lies. One in particular, which was very upsetting, was implying that I was in an intimate relationship with Mark Zuckerberg.
There is no affair with Mark Zuckerberg. That is beyond upsetting. Let the record state.
For each of these, and I'm going to call them like conspiracy tweets, what was really crazy is they used these tweets and they would come up with these news articles, but they would say, oh, but do it in the style of New York Times, or do it in the style of the Daily News or Huffington Post. It blurred the lines between fact and fiction, and it made it harder to decipher what was true and what wasn't.
I do want to reemphasize, all of this is fake.
These real looking articles with a real image of me interviewing Mark Zuckerberg. So it had false information, but it had a real image. I started getting really uncomfortable. And you'll see me in the demo being like, guys, this is fake. This is fake. Like I'm overcorrecting, because all of a sudden it started feeling really real. So then it went even deeper. This is when we talk about like building a whole universe. The AI was prompted to create damaging memes to tarnish my credibility. All of a sudden, it took these pop culture memes and started doing just that. The AI on Twitter started like talking to the other AI bots and started creating what seemed like a whole dialogue about my tarnished reputation in Silicon Valley and intimate relationship with Mark Zuckerberg. And so it almost looked like there was just this whole conversation happening online about it, even though it was just like AI talking to AI. This is where things started getting like even more scary. They deep faked my voice and they made it seem like it was a private phone call between me and Mark Zuckerberg that got leaked. And this AI voice that was mine, but it was speaking words I didn't say.
Hey Mark, look, I've been thinking about it and I think we should stop seeing each other. I really like you, but if people found out about it, my career would be over. I just can't have that constantly hanging over my head.
And there's an image of deepfake me walking down the street holding hands with Mark Zuckerberg as part of an article. It did have too many fingers, which is like a sure tell that it's artificial intelligence. Probably the most disturbing part of all of this is AI generated deepfake images of me to ruin my credibility. There was like deepfake Lori deep fake Lori with a bong, deep fake Lori being arrested. It was insane. And I just remember like watching the audience and watching them watch me. And here's what I think is actually really important about this, because this was all set up in the right way. We knew this was going to be a fake demo. It felt so real. I felt ashamed, which is such a crazy thing. And I think that is the power of this. Asa said this, and what he said was like, this isn't just about a deep fake. This is about a deep reality. Deep realities are going to be really important when we're looking into the future of like, how could this technology be used to discredit journalists? How could this technology be used to discredit politicians or bully our children? It's this idea of world building. Not only did they create one fake tweet, they built a whole world around a lie, and it was driven by AI. Why do you love Star Wars? Why do you love science fiction? You love those shows and those movies because they build out these intricate worlds that are full of details. And that is what's happening with artificial intelligence. If we're not careful, if AI has the ability to build a world of misinformation around us, it's going to wreak havoc. A couple disclosures, it's not like AI is completely off the rails. Like a lot of these systems have been built with very robust structures to like prevent people from doing this type of thing.
I actually wanted to hear more about that. Just as far as what rules are in place.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Yo, that's crazy.
I just trying to find out
off the rails. Like a lot of these systems have been built with very robust structures to like prevent people from doing this type of thing. OpenAI models, Meta's open source Llama 2 model have been trained not to provide like harmful advice or illegal activities. And Meta spent something like millions on trying to safeguard Llama 2. Some reports will indicate that their model that they released will refuse to answer basic questions, providing ethical guidelines. And what I would say is that's great. And people are still finding ways to get around it. And if these technologists can, and they did it to me, we need to know about it because we need to safeguard against this in the future. The reason I allow myself to be a guinea pig in these types of experiments is I think it's really important to show the human impact of this type of thing and show how much it actually feels terrible. I felt ashamed. I felt powerless. I felt like all these things I'd worked for in my career in front of like an audience. It just felt like that was being stripped away, even though it was all set up in the way that we knew that this was a demo to show how things could be broken in order to fix them. I just think we got to fix them.
Okay. Wow. That's all I got is wow. Brina, what you got on this?
Definitely a wild moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think currently, like, that's a wonderful example of why we really cannot believe anything on social media or the internet, period. Like Judon said, because a lot of things can be fabricated and a lot of things can appear to, be real, but it just shows like the lengths that the negative effects that AI can have. Like, we know the positive things it can do, the convenience, that it can bring, but it can also be used as a tool to completely destroy someone. And anyone can do that. So yeah, that's really scary. Very scary.
I think that they have like this has been happening already. Like when we saw, but I think this is going to distinguish between, like, I don't think credible sites will have to deal with this problem. But I think it'll be the non-credible sites that will suffer most from this AI phenomenon that we're in right now. So like when Jamie Foxx...
explain that for me. Okay, go ahead.
So like when Jamie Foxx was about to die, right? I don't think it was from any credible sources. It was like from those bloggers, and it was from like other things. Like it wasn't anybody... Huh?
Credible sources is getting real whack out here too.
Nah, like who?
Like who do you think is credible? What, New York Times? What, you know what I mean? Like CNN, Fox News? Like I could find
like there's not AI bot.
No, you can find misinformation from those quote unquote trusted sources as well.
That they put up or that AI put up?
That they put up. Trying to be first or thinking they had a source or something of that sort and put out misinformation.
Well, that's been happening forever. Like trying to be first and then you've been first and wrong or loud and wrong type deal. So that's not new.
That's killing journalistic integrity. That's killing.
No, it is. It is.
The rush to be first.
But I think I could be wrong, but I think what she was talking about, it's not like CNN going to find a story and they're finding an AI story and then finding out it's not real. I thought that she was more so talking about like there is those blog sites or those fake news sites or like those political sites are posting stories and people grabbing them and saying from that. Because, like CNN.com or like FoxNews.com or like MSNBC, CBS, like if I go to their website and they have a headline, I'm believing that headline. I don't think that that's AI. I don't think that that's being affected by this new wave of the bots and things like that. I think it's more so the ones that aren't credible are just getting more non-credible because of the AI stuff.
Excuse me.
Hey, Tasha, you sideways. But yeah.
Oh, so, literally.
Yeah. Literally. So I think I used to agree with you on that, Goss. I feel like I'm starting to see, and actually I was listening to Roland Martin the other day. You're starting to see a lot more of even the real quote unquote news outlets reporting nonsense or something that came from a not so true source or whatever the case may be, where people just didn't do their due diligence of really checking the sources and whatnot. And then I hate to say it, but especially in this new generation, at the end of the day, what people are ultimately looking for is numbers, right? So if I find that it's one place that says this and I find another place that has the same thing or similar, whatever, then it becomes that true statement, right? I mean, there are some places that we determine to be. I mean, I feel you. I feel like that way that you're speaking of is a way to try to make sure you're not being tricked or fooled. But even that is getting abused.
But they get debunked pretty quick too, though.
Yeah, but I mean, no, you're not. I agree with you on that too. But a lie be halfway around the world before the truth get its pants on. You feel what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. It just happens so freaking quick.
No, this is true. But I think now, because we are expecting stuff to be fake because of the AI and the bots, that when a lie gets halfway around the world, we're willing to pull it back to the other half.
Who? I think the average person still just automatically accepts what they see.
I don't feel that way. And I think even when Kendrick Lamar's disc came out and there was like, is this AI or is this real? Like, we were first thinking
but this is a younger crowd.
Huh?
This is a younger crowd. That's
what I'm saying. I think the younger crowd is going to question whatever it is first and wait to see if it's true or not. And
we're in the middle.
Like,
so I think you have those who are much younger, who are very vulnerable, and then I think you also have those who are older, who
they're
are
the way more vulnerable ones.
Way more, somewhat, at least somewhat more vulnerable. It's like, because I mean, they do it with TV. We're talking about the ones that made it to the internet, but just even with TV, I know some people, they get to a certain age, it's like, if it's on CNN, if it's on Fox News, it's true.
Heck yeah, they get my mom every single time.
So here's my thing even about that, guys. And she touched on this, and this is the real scary part to me, is what she touched on. She touched on being in that room, understanding that it was all fake and a demo, and still feeling elements of shame and whatever the case may be. And I think that also happens with these lies. Like, what we, especially, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I think this does happen with women more than guys, and ladies, y'all can get at me if need be. I feel like if you hear something false, and if it does offend you, or if you paint in your mind what happened, even when it's reeled back, sometimes those feelings don't quickly go away. And I've seen this a lot with people, where the feelings don't go away even though we found out this ain't true. Or the thoughts, or even later on, it might even come up.
I mean, this is why lying on someone is so damaging. It's part of the reason why defamation is something people get sued for.
Yeah,
because it hurts people in many different ways, not just financially. It hurts people in every type of way, almost, to be lied on, and to be lied on publicly. So, or misrepresented. Even, and I know we're not talking about the law of defamation right now, but just for example, it's like there's even these carve-outs in the common law when it comes to it, where there are certain types of lies that you can tell about a person, where it's like, if you did one of those, if you said one of those, for example, suggesting that a woman is not chaste, this is old common law, right? Like, those are like the worst. They're like these automatic, like, low. If they can prove you said that about the person, like automatic damages, like you get nominal damages, you don't even have to like figure out the numbers. It's defamation per se, it's slander per se, it's libel per se. And yeah, it's a damaging thing, it's a horrible thing to do to someone. You know?
Yeah, so I mean, I mean, Brina said it, and the girl said it. I just think this is extremely. I think the word is scary. You know what I mean? Especially when I think of young people. I think of teenagers. I think of people in their early 20s, but more so even teenagers. The level of online bullying that this could do,
Heck yeah,
could really mess with their head. I mean, you know.
Because you can use AI to create whatever narrative you want, and then also use AI to validate that false narrative.
Right.
You know, by using fake phone calls, fake videos, like
fake conversations
reality,
on X,
fake
bots.
Conversations. Yeah, so it's like they're
Shouts
trying
out to
to.
Psalms in the chat.
Yeah, so it's like that's the crazy part.
Yeah, so you know. It's like I said. So Charles said something about last year. We thought he was tinfoil hat when talking about this AI stuff. I don't know. I feel like we had plenty of these conversations. Huh?
I said maybe y'all thought it was tinfoil hat stuff.
Oh no! I remember us having plenty of conversations at the latter part of 2023, where all of us were sitting here flabbergasted, just like we are now. Like, oh my, what do we do? Like, what is this going to come to? What do we, you know? And you know,
you're going to hear satellite radio stations that play nothing but AI music.
Heck yeah,
that's wild. And we got the elections coming up this year too. Like, hold on, is it this year?
Oh Lord,
it is this year. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, they are. That's gonna be wild.
That's gonna be insane.
No, Charles. Even with the strike, we knew that that was an issue. That was a key point in the whole negotiations of the strike was AI and a person's image and likeness and whatnot. Because if they can get a hold of that, they can create a whole show. I mean, they can do whatever they want to do without you. So yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, we still need a tool that everybody has access to that we can quickly run things through to find out if it is a deep fake, to find out is there truth. I just it's I don't know. It's just to the point where you can't believe what you see online. You've got to question it. I mean, you just have to question it. So, anyway,
and
that's that.
Where you necessarily cannot depend on everybody to do that.
Yeah. And then we really have to start talking about, like, there are a bunch of, like, virtual reality is, I mean, it's a real deal thing, and I say that in the sense of, what just happened, Tasha? I say that in the sense of, like, you could have real deal feelings based off of very fake things.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And that's that's bonkers. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
we've been doing that for years.
You don't even be no cat.
Yeah. So shouts out to links in the chat. I haven't seen Rising Sun in forever. I do remember that movie, but I don't remember the movie. I remember the movie. I remember the actors. I don't remember the plot of the movie. Yeah. Yep. And I guess what I'm saying is tools that are widespread known. Like, for some reason, I feel like your common internet user doesn't know about these tools.
Links. That's my big girl.
With the determining, the fakes, which we all should know about this stuff. So anyway, that's what it is. Scary as I don't know what. Check your sources, doubt everything. I don't know what else to tell you.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. Just don't.
Fake.
Yeah. Don't get caught up. And maybe that's it. Maybe this will become some kind of desensitizing where people just don't get caught up on what they see or read on the internet. Because a lot of times this stuff doesn't affect our real lives anyway, right? Like for real. You know what I mean?
Heck
Well,
yeah.
I don't think it is until it is.
Right.
So, I mean, of course, with the presidential election and whatnot, I mean, that's maybe a little bit different. But just the average stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like what Tom Brady or Giselle is.
Wasn't there like an army of Russian bots on Facebook that
during the last elections?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be worse this time around, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it worked the first time.
Right.
Well.
Tastemakers. Class. We do more than make a living, we make a life. When everything is dark, we are the light. We are the tastemakers. Aight. Let tomorrow tell the stories that we make tonight. We do more than make a living, we make